Today's story of all ages is The Butterfly Boy by Laurence Yep and illustrated by Jeanne M. There once was a boy who dreamed he was a butterfly, and as a butterfly he always dreamed he was a boy, and this would sometimes get him into trouble because sometimes he would forget he was a boy and think he was a butterfly. Once a buffalo blocked the road, so the boy tried to fly over him and wound up on the buffalo's back instead. And the buffalo carried him for 3 miles while the boy lay on his stomach flapping his arms. And, laughing and joking, everyone fell in step behind him and called it the Butterflies' Parade. And the buffalo carried him right into the city. There he saw the butterflies embroidered on a lady's robe, and they looked so real that he jumped off the buffalo and tried to dance with them, and got hit on the nose with her fan. And as he stood in the market, he heard people shouting about their fresh fish, shouting about their vegetables, shouting about their flowers, and he became hungry, but like a butterfly rather than a boy, and he put his face to the flowers and tried to suck the nectar. But whenever he made a fool of himself, the laughter of the others only sounded like the roaring of a wind, carrying him higher and higher toward the sun, the sun, the sun, the warmth of the sun, hugging the warmth with the rainbow wings. And then dancing, dancing in a ragged coarse robe, dancing and drumming on his thighs to the clicking of the cicadas. And the more they laughed, the higher he flew, and the faster he danced, right out of the city and back to his tiny house with boards held together by vines and a door made of brambles. The world was like a book to him, and the fields and hills and the rivers and lakes were like pages full of words, words that he understood as a butterfly, but not as a boy. As a butterfly, he would sit upon a flower, watching the morning mist drifting along the river, and remembering people's shadows slipping along city streets, so lonely, so tired, melting into the cold shadows of banks and palaces and forts and prisons, and he would feel sorry for the others who could not see with butterfly eyes. As a boy, he could stand for hours staring into a puddle because he saw the rainbow shining on the surface like a skin shed by a snake, like the ghost of a seashell. When someone asked why he was staring at scum, he tried and tried to explain, but he could only talk of snakes and seashells. So everyone thought he was stupid because he couldn't see how ugly things were, and he was sorry for the others who did not understand. And yet, either as a boy or as a butterfly, he did not understand many things that people did. Once a great lord invaded their land, and before him marched his mighty army with spear points gleaming like a river of stars. Frightened, the other people knelt and bowed their heads against the dirt, for the Lord's army made the ground tremble like an earthquake. But the butterfly boy only stood and laughed, for all the marching legs reminded him of a centipede, hurrying along the grass, thinking it was so important because it had so many legs. And the Lord became angry when he heard the butterfly boy and ordered his soldiers to seize the insolent child. And when the soldiers led the boy before their Lord, the boy began to weep. Instantly the Lord felt better. "Are you afraid of me now?" But the boy had seen the Lord with his butterfly eyes, and the Lord in his armor reminded him of a beetle on its back, wriggling its legs. "I'm only sad for you," the boy said, "and all your other little bugs." And the Lord ordered his men to let the boy go. "He is either a madman or a prophet," the Lord said, "and I have no quarrel with either." Winter came early, and the Lord and his army perished in the snow. So there was a great celebration with feasting and fireworks, and everyone remembered the butterfly boy. So they made him guest of honor and called him brave and wise. But praise meant no more to him than insults, and the fireworks reminded him of the lovely flowers that had vanished. And the sound of footsteps in the snow, so crisp, so cold, reminded him of the end of flying and the end of life. So he ran back to his house and shuffled inside, feeling very, very sad and thinking, maybe the others are right. Maybe I am a fool. But at New Year's, in the midst of the cold and the dark and the snow, the wild plum tree flowered outside his house, and the scent of its pink blossoms, so sharp, so sweet, slipped through his flimsy walls and reminded him that all things return, and that the snow was a giant cocoon for the rebirth of the world. And as a boy, he ran out into the winter snow and flitted about through a rain of pink petals like a butterfly floating through the flowers. And, as a butterfly, he flew into a summer meadow and hopped and skipped among the flowers like a boy dancing in the snow. There once was a boy who dreamed he was a butterfly, and, as a butterfly, he always dreamed he was a boy, and he was never sure which he liked better.